What is going on, guys? I hope you're all doing well. Before we start with the video, I just want to remind you guys to please subscribe to the channel for more NBA content like this. And also, if you do enjoy this video, please be sure to leave a like. It makes a big difference in helping this channel grow, and I would greatly appreciate it. So I am sorry for not uploading for the past 2 weeks. Finals has been very stressful. It's also around the holiday season, so very busy with life and haven't been able to put out a lot of content, and I'm probably not going to for a couple weeks. It's going to be a little inconsistent just because it's too much uncertainty and holidays and all that stuff. So I'm going to take it a little bit easy until we get to January, but I still have a lot to talk about because it's been 2 weeks and there's just so much that has gone on in the NBA. I mean, let's see, the Phoenix Suns have been playing great. All these cool stories in the NBA, Ben Simmons drama, Kyrie Irving drama. But today I want to talk about Zion Williamson because his name has been talked about basically all year, and it's unfortunately not for very good reasons. He hasn't played a game, he had dealt with an injury, and he has gotten setback after setback after setback. And just when we thought that the return was starting because they were starting to ramp up his practices, another setback happens and we just don't know when he's going to come back. They're saying it's not season ending, but it's hard for me at this point in the season to believe that he comes back. The Pelicans are one of the worst teams in the NBA, so it's not like Zion coming back is going to help this team jump all the way to a playoff team. That's just not going to happen. We don't know how Zion's going to look when he comes back. And it's just such a messy stuff. It's just a lot of messy stuff going on with New Orleans. And then you also take into account all the drama that came out during the offseason about how the general manager and Zion aren't getting along and the coaches weren't getting along and all that stuff. So, I mean, this is just a bigger conversation about the Pelicans and how they're just a poorly run organization, right? I mean, look at the way this team is right now and look at where they are. It's just a big mess all around, right? But in terms of just Zion, man, this hurts. This really does, because he was awesome last year when he played. Because last year, I'm trying to put up the numbers, right? He played 61 games out of 72. Not bad, right? And he was an all-star, which was well-deserved, right? 27 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. Was like at the top of the league in points in the paint, right? And just watching him play, he looked great. He was getting to the basket with ease. He was very dominant in the post. He was out rebounding, right? All the things that we know about Zion in terms of just his physicality, we saw it all last year. And it was cool to see because we all know how hype it was for him coming in, right? One of the most exciting prospects we'd had in years since LeBron. That was the hype, right? But this is another example of why you can't do why the hype sometimes gets overblown. You know what I mean? Because unfortunately, it's not a great situation right now with Zion. And I know everyone posts the pictures of his weight, and it is a problem, right? The weight gain is, you can't ignore it. But at the same time, you know, I mean, people are going to make jokes on Twitter, right? That's just the way it is, but I'm not a fan of that. I don't really like the jokes at all, but, you know, I mean, it's real, though. Like, people make fun of the weight gain, but when you're getting injury after injury and you can't practice and you can't really do much physical activity, you're going to put on some weight, especially if you're already a bigger guy. That's just what happens. So, like, the whole him gaining weight thing is just, it's unfortunate, right? That's what the situation is with him. But I mean, there's not really much he can do, because honestly, if you followed him when he had his injuries or even just recently, he does lose the weight when he works out. Like, when he's actually playing, he looks fine. There's no concerns about his weight. He doesn't overly look like an overweight guy. He looks like an NBA player. He's bigger, sure, but still, it's not a concern. And I know some other podcasts and some reporters have talked about how he's been almost at 350, and like yeah, it's just not good. It isn't. And then you also have to take into account the way he plays, how dominant he is, how physical he is. He relies a lot on his athleticism. and it's not great on his knees. We know that already because he's already had some issues with his knees, and it's continuing as it goes on. It's just watching this all unfold is just sad. And you know it's bad when social media accounts are posting his Duke highlights from 3 years ago and saying like, oh, remember this Zion? I'm like, dude, we saw that Zion last year in the NBA. He can still be that guy. We saw it a year ago. Why are we posting his Duke highlights like his career is over? This is what, his 3rd season? And I get the concerns, but I don't know, man. Like, I'm worried about Zion, and not necessarily like his game. I'm just worried that like everything unfolding the way it is with his health, the team situation, the organizational situation. It's just an ugly situation to be all around, and it's not ideal when you're a 21-year-old who is supposed to be the face of a franchise, and the expectations were supposed to be that you're the face of the league, right? And that's a deeper conversation about why you can't put these kinds of expectations on these young kids, right? He was a prodigy. We get that. He was a sensational player at Duke. We get that. But all of the hype that the media created about him being the biggest prospect since LeBron and being this like huge guy, chosen one, generational talent, like that stuff gets overblown. And then at the same time, the media who created these narratives are the same ones who are going to call out Zion and go after him when he's not living up to those expectations. It's just a sad situation all around. And I hate it for him because he's still, I believe it, right? I still believe that he can be a really good player. But all of this is just ugly. Like, the one thing that I'm noticing right now is it's hard for me to believe that he stays with New Orleans long term. And I know everyone knows that already. Like, the way that the organization is run, you wonder why small markets don't succeed as much in the NBA. There are very few small markets, quote unquote, that have a lot of success in the NBA. Milwaukee is very lucky that they landed Giannis. You know, Memphis is in a really good spot with John Morant. You could argue the Utah Jazz, and I'm probably a bunch more than I'm missing off the top of my head. But when you have poorly run organizations, small market or big market, but especially in the small markets, it's why they leave. Why do you think AD left to the Lakers? You know, why do you think everyone's clamoring for Dame to leave Portland? You know, with all the organizational mess over there. Why do you think people are trying to get Cat out of town? Why do you think... I mean, it's just like a pattern, right? And we're going to see it with Zion. Regardless of the injury situation, we're going to see it, right? He talked already about how much he loves New York. People are going to push him to go to the Knicks or to some other huge market or semi-big market. But, I mean, the biggest thing that I wanted to just say was just that, like, it's sad seeing the way this is all unfolding. I still believe in him. I still believe in his talent. But injury after injury, especially in the same foot, and then you add the weight problems, and then you add the organizational issues, it's hard not to be concerned about the way that his career has gone so far. And like I said, I still think he can turn it around. I still think he can come back and be a great player and all that, but it's just that at the moment, I am a little worried about what is going to happen with Zion. I just hope that he has the right people around him, that he comes back healthy, that he's doing the right things in terms of, you know, weight loss, nutrition, working out, whatever it is. Because it's not a good look right now. And it's not a good look when people are making Twitter jokes about him looking overweight, right? It's Twitter. It happens. But I'm not a fan of it. And it's sad to see it happen with someone who I believe is one of the most talented players I've ever seen, in college at least. And I still think he can be that in the NBA. But, alright, that was a short rant that I wanted to do. I know I haven't uploaded in a while. And I figured that, you know, with all of the conversation about Zion and all the setbacks he's had, I figured I'd get my thoughts off on the whole situation. So that's what I did in this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, please be sure to leave a like. And comment down below your thoughts on this whole Zion situation. Do you think he's going to come back fine? Do you think it's better if he just leaves right away? What are your general thoughts on the whole situation? Let me know what you think. And if you haven't already, please be sure to hit that subscribe button for more NBA content like this. And that's basically it. Thank you guys as always for your continuous support, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.